So we'll give this a couple minutes. Let some people join, maybe. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start downloading the latest LulzBot Kira version. All right. So make sure that people can actually hear me. Oh, okay. People can. If you can hear me and you're in the chat, say something. I'm not using my normal setup, so since I'm in the garage. Okay. Well, participants. All right, well, I guess if you guys can't hear me, you can at least watch. I don't know. We'll let the buffer catch up for a second. There's a few people watching. Maybe. Anyway, it's time to cut the box open. Let's check. Oh yeah. Well, that's a. Do you guys hear that crazy banging sound? Did it stop on your end? Did it stop on your end? I think it. Yeah, it's feedback. That's weird. Anyway. Okay. Well, the one person I care about watching this is watching this, and he's talking to me. So, hi, Adam. Taz. It's really big. I forgot how big these boxes are. This might be kind of cumbersome. But we'll figure it out. If I remember right, it's really important that when you hold this down, those are correct. We have to keep the box. If you have to send it back, you have to pay $75 for a new box. That's just crazy. Oh, you know what? We need to put this one more place real quick. Okay. Yeah, this is a lot more fun when I have friends to heckle live. I don't really get how YouTubers and streamers do this. Oh, there's people talking. Hey. I mean, it'd be more fun, but like I'll be done by the time you got here, Chris. Ooh. So they sent 2 samples of Polymaker Polydissolve, which is, I'm guessing, Polymaker soluble filament. I'm excited to try it out. I've liked everything Polymaker's made. And then we get the usual kit of things. I'm assuming that this was printed on this machine. If that's how it used to be. We will dig into that in a bit. Apparently I need to sharpen the knife. And the bed knob floating around. Stick that guy there. More polyresolve. Lots of filament. Yes, Josh, it does smell like North Dakota. It doesn't smell anything like the old machines. Nothing like Colorado. All right. Oh, another bed knob. I remember it. This always used to go easier on the ground. Wow. So this is the new toolkit. This they really classed it up from the old hanging shower thing. This is nice. Glue stick. Ooh, new variety of pick with extra protecty tips. The old like stabby ice pick thing was so good. Tweezers, these are fantastic for everything but 3D printing. Occasionally I'll grab a filament off. X-Acto knife, perfect to stab your enemies. Not for removing supports. Linear scale. These things are so handy. I think this is like the classiest move that LulzBot ever did, and I'm glad they're still doing it. But they give you a full-on set of Allen wrenches with these machines, and like this isn't the same set that they used to do. They used to be Tech-Ons, and this looks like a knockoff Tech-On, but like these still seem like nice Allen wrenches. I'll use them during the build. We'll find out. The Tech-On sets that I had from the old LulzBot days, they're still my go-to Allen wrenches most of the time. I just splurged and bought myself a nice set. So lots of wiper pads. These are different. What are these wiper pads? They're white Scotch-Brite. These are not the old melted acetone dipped felt pads of yore. I'm very curious about these because this is like the #1 gripe that we had of these in the makerspace is the wiper pads suck. Well, they don't suck. They're great for ABS. They were great for PLA. And then for anything else, they're terrible. Scotch-Brite. These are the really harsh variety. I'm guessing they send you this because it's got hardened nozzles now. You'd never want to use this on a brass nozzle though, because they'd like make your 0.5 nozzle 0.9 after you abrade your nozzle away for a while. Full set of needle nose pliers. I totally know what I'm doing here. I promise, guys. No clue. Anyone? I got nothing. I bet I'll find out. And classy little 16 gig Kingston flash drive. It's a legit one too. It's not the random Chinese one. that I've gotten with some other orange printers. Still, that was still a nice flash drive, even if it wasn't off-brand. I don't know what it was, but. It does look like a safety key. I almost wonder if it's a protective thing to go in the USB slot, because this doesn't have an SD card slot anymore. It's got an SD slot, or doesn't have an SD slot anymore. It's got a USB slot for the program loads. So put these away nice later, I promise. So this always went better on the floor. You actually had to pump the bed up out of the machine. Oh, you know, I will say there is one glaring omission from this toolkit. And Josh will know that I appreciate it. There's no clam knife. I don't know who decided to put the clam knife in the toolkit, but they were sadistic, because the only thing a clam knife did was remove knuckle skin. It never removed a print. I don't care what you say. I got in an argument with that with my first day. Which thing is happening? Send me a review. I don't really know. I didn't buy it. This unit was provided to me by LulzBot with like really unclear definition of what I was supposed to do with it. Basically, they said print stuff with it and make content around it. So here I am. I'm making some content with a live stream because I'm bad at editing. We'll see where this goes. I'm definitely going to print with it though, because I wanted to use one of these units since they came out. Ray, for your question, LulzBot sent me a TAZ Pro. I'm unboxing it. We're going to set it up. We're going to see how things go. Power cord, USB cable. Looks like they sent me a US power cable. That's cool. That's good. That's better than Creality's ever done. Every Creality machine I've ever gotten, I got some other power cable. I've gotten a Chinese cable. I've gotten a European cable. I've had 2 Creality machines. That's what I got. Thank you for the ketchup. Yeah, Adam told me that I had to live stream it. Yeah, you did, Josh. And that was the day I decided to leave Cat. I can use machine in all the countries. I can't use the machine in all the countries. None of those countries would let me in. We're American now, right? Huh. This still says ALIF Objects. I wonder if this is old stock. For those that don't know, ALIF Objects was the company that owned LulzBot 3D printers. They're now owned by Fame Manufacturing, I think, and Fargo 3D. So, yeah, I'm curious if this is old stock or if this was actually made in Fargo. If anybody from Fargo is watching, tell me. We'll pop this apart. We're on bed assembly. I know there's instructions in that booklet of how to do this, but I've unpacked a couple of LulzBots in my life, and this is still packed pretty similar. They do a really good job of packing these. When I was there, we were testing the packing for 6-foot drops, and that was always interesting. I'd really hate to see Joe's face at him if a Daedalus got dropped 6 feet. I don't care how good he packed it. I still think he'd cry. And then more parts falling out. All right, so let's look at how things are different. I didn't hook up my USB extension like I meant to. All new stock. They just had extra ALO sheets for packing. The plastic key is the lock and the IGUS cable chain for the bed. Ah, cool. Okay. Is Lucas Human, is that your real last name or is that just weird? Interesting. Okay. So, updates. That's much beefier. This was always a fail point on the TAZ 6s. They would split across the layer lines right here, and then you'd know it happened because you were suddenly printing ovals. And, oh boy, that's a big change. Kyle from Elite Machines would really appreciate this. They are now supporting the motor shaft at the top. This is hard to get an angle on. It's hard to even see, but they're supporting the motor shaft at the top with the bearing. And this is like the right way to do this instead of loading the motor shaft and pulling it at an angle. And nobody does that. That's awesome. Good job, guys. The bearing mounts are different. They actually have a circlip ring in them for the IGUS. Let's see, what else? They have a much stronger connection point here for the rails. Like overall, they really overhauled like all of this. This is awesome. It's totally the wiper pads. So the wiper pads are now white Scotch-Brites. Very curious how that does with like PETs and nylons because those have always been a problem. Here's the new bed connection point, which is awesome. This is much better than the clippiness for the wire loom that was in the TAZ 6. Because everyone always forgot to put the zip ties in the wire loom, so then your connections were carrying the bed wires around instead of the strain relief. Like every TAZ I ever walk up to never has the zip ties in right here. So cool. And all right, I'm not going to drag this over because it's heavy, but let's look at this again. Oh, there's actually a few people in here. Yep, that's your real name. That's cool. Though I don't know if they're correctly toleranced, but those felt much tighter. I know in the TAZ 6s, it was a crapshoot on if they'd be good or if they'd be floppy. Let's look at this tool then. These seem much tighter. So they changed everything here, like everything. This is all new. And I'm not sure if I like it. There's a lot of play here, a lot of twist, and that wasn't in the TAZ 6 because these rails were pulled further apart, so they were much better supported. I don't know if it'll be a problem though. I mean, this tool head's very front heavy, but it's not. It doesn't appear to be twisting them. But the wipe action is always something that like it gives me a mechanical sympathy for the printer when it wipes because it's always like dragging the tool head all over the place. So I'm very curious how that goes. These motors as well, the belted Z's, those are also properly supported with the bearing on this. It looks like they had custom motors made with extended motor shafts. Oh, here's the other Y plate bolt. So those were floating, but that's not a big deal. They were always kind of floating. Let's see. Is the X-axis supported? The X is supported too. I think this is the only printer I've ever seen that had the motor shafts properly supported. Whoever decided to do that, good job. All of the printed parts are now aluminum. These used to be printed. They're now aluminum, powder-coated aluminum. They feel real nice. There's still an alignment piece here, looks like. Oh, it's for wiring. Let's see. That's printed. This rail support down here is printed. I'm not sure how I feel about the 4 Z rods. That seems over-constrained. Seems like it would cause problems. We'll see. Yeah, 4 Z rods and 3 Z bearings on each. That seems over-constrained. And all of this cable chain is so much nicer. They really put a lot of effort into this. There's a lot of good attention to detail. I'm very interested in digging into this filament sensor. So the filament sensor does both runout and stripping, which is always something that I wanted to see in a filament sensor because who cares if you ran out of filament if your print's still stuck and you're grinding. Is there a better? All right. Is the frame square? I don't know. We could measure that. The only thing I have here to measure that is a tape measure, but I would actually get us pretty close. Stephanie, is there a better belt tensioner? Let's see. There is a legit belt tensioner on the X. 2 bolts pulling the clamp in and pulling it in this way. What about here? I'll be real honest, I don't know how wide it's getting tensioned. It looks like it's a continuous loop. Maybe they just sized everything dead on? I don't know. The TAZ 5. Something by the name of WH. was one of the original 6 Smoothie Brains C3 remix customers and helped me figure out the MOSFETs from AliExpress were shit. I was also a Smoothie Brains victim. I have 2 of them. The frame is wobbly enough or over constraints that don't cause issues. Are the Y rods 10 millimeters? Yes, they are 10 millimeters. Well, no. This could be. This could be 12. Zero these guys out. Y's are 10. X's are 12. And Z's are 10. What else you got? I don't know if it needs 12 millimeter wire rods. Everything's much better built than it was. And honestly, it doesn't really need it. Like we're not going to sag over that. And like I said, we're squirting out plastic to make trinkets. And jigs. Trinkets and jigs. CNC machines. I carried out your decisions. I'm just saying. All right. So what else we got? Oh, all the motors are grounded in the case, which is nice. They were never grounded like that before. The fan covers are real nice. These are injection molded. Huh. Lots of really good wiring in this. Should I open up the enclosure or should I print with it first? I kind of want to see what board's in it, but I also want to print with it before I make any bad decisions. All right, the masses have spoken. A or B? Yes. If you work on printers and you don't own this, you should own this. It's a gyroscopic, but the best part is at like 7, you can, I can't quite stop it with my hand, but you can almost stop it with your hand. You know what? I should probably do that with an actual Allen wrench. Okay. Yeah, this would still be more fun if you could actually talk to me. Like, I want this to be Matt's Saturday night call, but everybody just hanging out while I do this. Show me your secrets. Here's a real sexy side panel. I like the dual matte to gloss. It's a nice touch. What have I missed? Mini. Where did I get that hex bit? I got it on Amazon. I'll put it in the Discord. Or in your Discord's voice chat. That would, I feel like that will get hectic, but I don't know, maybe not. All right. So, the new LCD is a LulzBot LCD. That's a LulzBot board. That's interesting. We're running an Archime 2 for a controller still. I had heard a rumor that that wasn't a case anymore. So that's exciting. It's still an Ultra-Machine board. At least it says so on silkscreen. Yeah, overall, look, it has grounds. Unlike a Chinese machine, there's no grounds in China. So that's always a concern. Legit 500 watt main wheel. These power supplies are unstoppable. This is what's powering most of my machines after I learned of their greatness. I love how all the wire tie down points are 3D printed. They're still zip tied, they're still like taped with the normal tape, but they're all 3D printed with a good use of time. Overall, there's nothing really shocking in here. This is an upgrade over the 6. This is a much nicer IEC plug. Yeah, there's nothing really surprising back here. Back connection panel is almost exactly the same as the TAZ 6. Still have a full-size USB-B, which is just fantastic. Hate anybody who decides to go to a mini. It's a printer bashing time. I kind of thought I was going to be frustrated with some things on this, but overall, if it prints good, so far the build is really nice. So yeah, let's put it back together and power it up. I really hope this is what you meant, Colin, when you said go full bolter. Full on, take it apart. I want to take the tool head apart too, but I want to prep it first. Just because I've built so many tool heads in my life, and I know where those problems can start. And I mean, they're tight arrows, so there's no secrets to be gained other than the construction of the tool heady area itself. Maybe we'll take that apart. really hope you guys like watching me screw things. Ah, Chinese printer bashing by comparison. 3 whiskey. Wow, Luke. Now a whiskey ginger. You know, whiskey ginger sounds pretty good. I debated on whether I should drink a beer while doing this, and still debating on it. So Lucas, do you work for LulzBot now? You do things that I wouldn't expect normal people to know. Okay, I'm not crazy, right? This panel fit up and it was right side up before, right? It doesn't quite fit now. Okay, we're not going to strip that up. It's not important that bolt's there. All right. Okay, I need to look in the manual for a second because that cable chain and Y is funky. Just have friends that work for the company before I go. Man, I miss New Belgium. Remember the time we went there and I got way too drunk? was a good time. We had fun. Manuel? He's this guy that tells me how to do these things. Manuel. I still have that hoodie, Josh. Manuals are for quitters. No, manuals are for people who want it to work the first time. As somebody who writes documentation often, it's like, I feel like it's just respectful to the people who designed the thing to take a minute and look at it. Okay, that picture for the cable chain, it's not descriptive. Like, am I bending it this way or am I bending it that way? I know I'm bending it this way because that just makes sense. But Claudio, if you made this, this was a bad picture. It says if it doesn't rotate down easily, to loosen the screw. But that also means you have to shove an Allen wrench inside a wiring harness. That's a thought I don't like. And Colin, what do I do if I do the manual thing and it still feels like I'm going to break the part? Do I force it? I mean, it's 3D printed. I should be able to fix it, right? Oh, there's like a ratchet in it. I mean, that's cool and all, but it also feels terrifying. You know, because we're ratcheting across layer lines. Oh, so is the documentation all up to snuff? I literally don't know. I just opened it because I hit a point building it where I was stuck. I mean, it's still pretty good. Yeah, I'm assuming all this documentation was written in Colorado because this printer was released then. Or Claudio wrote it, not in Colorado, but in a non-disclosed location. Man, oh hi, it was so good. So good. I feel like there's things I'm missing in this bag, or that I'm not missing, but there are things that I should have in one of these bags. Oh yeah. Yeah. Here's the birth sheet. This was definitely made in Fargo. This was made just a few weeks ago, couple weeks ago. Let's see where that bolt should be. Okay. So it wants me to do the y-axis first. Guess that makes sense. It's nice little wire runs are familiar. Huh. Hey, so hey, Luke, do you know if this is using sensorless homing? There's no limit switches anywhere I can find. The harness that would have normally been the limit switch harness was actually just the ground for the motor. And then line. Once in place, secure cable chain to bed using included 4mm hex driver and the inset screw on the modular print bed. Oh crap, there is a screw in the print. Well, that's neat. Good job, guys. Yeah, I would have, if I would have not had Manuel telling me that, I would have looked at that screw for hours. Then I would have gotten to the bolt bin, which is just right here, and then like tried to jam a screw in, and then probably tried to drill that screw out. Manuel saved me. See, Colin? Reasons. All right. Yeah, that is such a better connection than it used to be. Yeah. Wire connections are okay. I'm not sure. They pull kind of funny. Not ultra. Hi, LulzBot. Well, I mean, they had to come and make sure I didn't break it. I'm glad you came late after I did all the other things. Oh, yeah. Should probably finish looking at this. Oh. Here's the Dibdy Bob that we couldn't figure out what it was for. It holds the bed power connector together. That's neat. And Dibdy Bob isn't the official technical term. I think you need to change the manual, LulzBot. I can send the spelling of that if you need. Put this in. Okay. Next. Oh, wow. I was on to the next step. Next step's power. That was an easy setup. Dibdy Bob? No, it's Dibbity Bob. Let's see. Dibbity Bob. There you go. Yes, Colin. It does sound like that thing that I can't say, but do love to eat. I haven't even every time I order it, I just point like I'm not embarrassing myself. Let's see. Woo! Woo! Okay. Oh, that's good. Hmm. Hey, LulzBot. Should that Z homing be like that? Okay, that was smoother. Yeah, it clacks loud. That way people know we made it. It was bumping hard at the beginning. Okay, that seems sane. I think maybe it was on the switch on one side and not backing off. Yeah. Hmm. Um, my partner is sending me porcupine eats fruit videos and asking me how I'm not freaking out. So, clacks. If you're still watching LulzBot, it's like it's not hitting the limit switches maybe, and it's like slamming home hard. It's like they're getting out of sync. That one went okay. We get a bit of drop and power off. We'll give it a lot of drop. It's stalling and hitting. It's squeaking dolphin. Well, okay. Home X, home Y, home Z. Okay. Hmm. Yeah, the best part about that thing I did is it's all on camera, so hey, there's that. Let's USB stick in. Man, this is really cool. I have nothing in the first print folder. Apparently they thought I would be good at this. Good job. There's a clean nozzle option in the. That's pretty cool. So we're going to heat up. Well, it's a belt Z. So, yeah. I really like belt Zs for a whole bunch of reasons, including going really fast. So, I'm curious what the wipe does. And okay, we're going to stop that. So I don't think that Z homing is normal. Not sure what to think about that. That was a good home. Well, it's up here. 1 and 2. Let's we don't need to go to. That's pretty cool. You can increment by 100 in the LCD for the temperature. Heat those up, get these filament strands out. Okay. All right. $500 I'm not interested. Angry. Yeah, I just saw today as I was looking through some of the documentation while I was at work, pretending to work, that you could use the alternate tool heads like the M75 and the HS, which that's kind of exciting because I have a whole bunch of tool heads here from my TAZ 6. And then where'd the other one go? Glad you guys are still with me. More streaming. Yes. The Morse extruder really was the best extruder. There was something magical about laying ropes with that thing. Slow down there, huh? That's okay. Okay. If you can say just. So is a monster more going to be a super volcano? That's crazy. No, nobody can. I had a lot of fun cutting hexagons apart and showing everyone why they were so terrible. I still have those pictures if we'd like to. If anyone would like to see the interesting failure mode of the hexagon hot ends. Holy crap! I'm interested in really, really big. I'd really love to do a second iteration of the massive with the 7-foot Z. Got to add a couple more Z's into it. It's always the best when the 3D printer that you build, you can't actually stand up in your shop. Okay, so right now, I'll go back on camera. I'm reinstalling the latest version of LulzBot Kira so that I can slice something for this, because the first print thing was empty on the USB thing. It was empty on the printer. I wonder if it's empty on the flash drive. Sample print, first print, sure isn't. Blender file, 3D printer file. Okay, cool. So I'll slice that up in a second. Unfortunately, it's also the same computer that the live stream is running on, so I can't do both where you can see it, but I'll be right here. Yeah, pellet extruder would be interesting. I mean, it's always fun when the nozzle that you make can make filament for other printers. So that was the Massive had a 2mm nozzle, and we joked about slightly changing that nozzle so that we could park the tool head of it up high and extrude 3mm into it and have filament coming out right into another printer below it. That was a debate on 2 Murphs ago, because Massive died day 1, but the extruder still worked. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. LulzBot Kira has it installed. LTTstore.com. Come over here. I do agree. I have a LulzBot TAZ Pro, dual extruder, add printer. Finish. Don't think I can do a screen share from this, since I'm not using OBS or anything. I'm just using the YouTube Live whatever, because I was lazy. So unfortunately, you can't watch me do this. But trust me, I am just loading an STL in. grouping the model. We don't want to group them. Ungroup models and want to merge them. And let's see what they tell me in the instructions how to slice this model. Polymaker. Ungroup. Make them both 0.25 layers so they finish tonight. It's on auto slice now. No, auto slice is the devil. Okay. I'm not gonna lie, shades of green, well, green is my favorite. Shades of green are not the best for differentiating between what is going on in dual extrusion. Merge them into a single print. Repair. Slice the dice. Save the file. Save the root. And wow. Other materials or other colors, okay. Feed it in. Uh, 180 degrees is too hot to touch with your fingers. Yes, yes. Okay. And menu. Oh, that's the wrong way. I want to load that way. Loading filament. Okay. that up and down bit's just fun. Okay, USB drive, TAZ Pro calibration, and print. We've officially done this live stream longer than I intended. But, you guys seem to be enjoying it. There's still people here. That's cool. So, LulzBot, do you guys find that the new Scotch-Brite wiper pads do better with PETG and nylons than the old felt pads? I like that you're using the fan to do a cool down after the wipe. That's kind of neat. No, Adam, we shouldn't have to do a Z offset. That should all be done at the washers. And then there's the cool XY calibration cube that does the backlash and the XY offset. Did I skip a step? Okay. Calibration cube doesn't run every print. Should I have run the calibration cube? What didn't you like? It just played music at me. Did I nudge the nozzles too far? No. That's better. So at some point we were supposed to push down on one of the washers because that started out much too close to the bed. Yes, it did just sad trombone me. I can't believe that the mic in this webcam picks that up. Okay. So, it prints. First layer was a little low, lower than I would expect it to be, but I don't know. It's also not out of the ordinary for what I've seen with these machines. But say overall, did that just heat up? Did that just heat up preemptively? Because it's cooling down to 170 right now, and I know that nozzle was cold before. So did that do predictive heat up? Absolutely love air compressors. I'm actually going to watch the temperatures this time because that nozzle was ready to print right when it was needed. And I'm very used to it would have cooled down and waited to heat up if that was on the tool changer. So if that's the case, I want to know more about what's doing that? Is that in firmware? Is that in slicer? Because that would be useful for a lot of printers. If that's a Marlin 2 thing, I want to know. But nobody's answering. You keep your secrets, I'll find them. I thought Chris was coming over. This is lonely. Let's see. Is this the bio company that bought LulzBot? The bio company didn't buy LulzBot. Fame bought LulzBot. This is Fargo LulzBot that's talking, and that sent this. The dual head went through massive changes from the initial TAZ Pro release. Initially, heat creep was terrible. New heat shroud. Yeah, I thought I would be done by the time you got here, but you know, Joe time. I didn't pay attention. But it was ready again. Yeah, that's one of the things I want to take apart and find the secrets of. They are servo actuated. It's super cool. They've got these adorable little linear rails in them that I'm pretty sure are carbon fiber, or not carbon fiber, but the ceramic coated aluminum rails. LulzBot, you answered that, but you know. Yes, they're the ceramic coated aluminum ones. Spring, I don't know. They're loud when they go up and down. There's definitely something happening there. Neat though. I don't know. Was there anything in our discussion, LulzBot, where I couldn't take this apart? Because if there was, I already violated that. But yeah, it's pretty rad. So, what do you guys think I should print for like the first really big thing? Woo! Freedom to create. Thank you. You guys saw it here, and they're mad later. So I'm thinking first things I want to make are child-size Mando helmet for me, because I have a tiny head. If you put my head next to Chris's, it doesn't look adult size. If a Mando helmet that fits me doesn't fit on this printer, we'll have to do it for my son, but he can also wear my bike helmets. So we might be either way, I don't know. The other things I want to make, big dinosaur skulls. Really interested in playing with PLA, PETG support structures. I've done it on the tool changer and it worked really well. I'm curious how it'll work on this. This soluble support material is so expensive, and PLA is so not expensive, especially with everybody dumping their COVID supplies right now. You can get $15 PLA from places like 3D Fuel or $15 PETG, and use one or the other for your support material, and then have really solid prints. So, hi Billy, $2 jack-o'-lantern, oh sure. Also, it's $15 right now. I just bought 5 rolls or 4 rolls. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of it in the other room, but I bought it all before I found out I was getting this, so I got a whole bunch of 175 and not 3mm. Okay, LulzBot, seriously, answer the question. Is it Slicer that is doing the preheat? Or Cura? Is that done in Slicer, or is that a read ahead function that the firmware is doing? I really want to know, because there's other printers here that could benefit from that, and I think it's really great. And a lot of smart people have been trying to figure that out for a while. A gentleman never tells. Open source, man. Are we not doing this anymore? 10 rails to 20. Yeah, you're right, Adam. Look in the G-code file. I will. I will. We're not doing compiled code out there. I hate this. Okay. Might be there. I won. That is a solid print. It's doing really good. How to watch again. You stick your finger. I really don't like the way bacon smells. That's not true. I love the way bacon smells. I don't like the way human skin smells because it smells like bacon and it makes me hungry. Print is doing really good. Tune the Z offset. First layer, save the offset values perfect. Okay, so that's legit then. I mean, yeah, the offset was 0. And now the offset's 0.3-ish. Yeah, that's sane. That's sane. Not everybody is as generous as you, Joe. And that's why we love you. That's why we love you. Just incredibly generous and giving. And apparently you have a Prusa profile for me for the data list, and I'm real jazzed about that. Found a test G-code file. It's inserting preemptive heat ups and cool downs. Okay. Kira, we got to talk. Because we can do 4 tools in Kira. All right. I can figure that out. I haven't used LulzBot Kira to print with a LulzBot in probably 8 months. When Prusa Slicer came out with LulzBot support, I started really heavily leaning on that because I wasn't sure. I guess at the time I wasn't sure of the future of LulzBot Kira. Is that going to be continued developed? Do you care to speak on that, LulzBot? I like LulzBot Kira. I've always thought of it as like the Debian of Kiras. Like Ultimaker Kira never works for any printer that's not an Ultimaker, but LulzBot Kira has always kind of just worked for me. So I hated the thought of losing it last year, but yes, that is still 3622. Okay. It's the truth, man. Ooh. Well, when you get 4x builds that you want beat on, send them over. I'll let you know if they're good and what problems I have. That's what I do. Yeah, it was kind of the thing. Like, LulzBot Hero was always good and nice, and it just worked for so many printers. And regular Kira is just terrifying half the time. So yeah, I will. I'll post some pictures when the print's done. It's 11 o'clock here. We've been doing this for almost 2 hours. I really only planned on doing it for like 30 minutes. But yeah, the print's running. It's still probably, yeah, it's only 23%. I'm not doing this the whole time it's printing. Does it still have the metal corner washering? Yes, it does still have the metal washer corner leveling. The router, Stephanie, is on the floor over it. It's on the floor over there because this is where it was sitting until 2 hours ago when this took its place. Real quick, where'd that part go? Well, there was an aluminum part that I made. Oh, there it is. So real quick, the milk crate router works. It cuts aluminum. Granted, there's this hiccup. Turns out drilling with a 3/4 horse router doesn't work very well. Who would have thunk? But yeah, it cut 1/2 inch aluminum. The surface finish isn't awesome, but it took me a couple tries to get through it to get feeds and speeds right, and I'm okay with that. This was a scrap piece of aluminum, and now it's going to be a new Z-axis interface plate. I went through and I made a feature list today of things I want to update on it. Things like adding thrust bearings in some places, looking at critical velocity of the lead screws on if I actually need full-length lead screws, because that changes some components I can use. Changing some of the printed parts. This is going to get used to make a whole bunch of printed parts for the milk crate. So, CNC machines making CNC machines making CNC machines is the way the world should be. The end goal of the milk crate is probably to have 2 of them built here, basically a printed version, which is like the base spec, and pushing that to its limits, and then also building a full ultimate spec all out of all aluminum components, preferably machined by it, and comparing them. I'm not ultra thrilled with the Carbide Create router, or the Carbide 3D router. The collet already jammed on me and screwed up the collet wrench, day 2. But it is also very accessible. A lot of people have them. It works. So, I think there's some considerations to take into account with all this, but I found that T-glass makes a really, really strong structural plate part. Like surprisingly strong. So LulzBot during COVID sent the makerspace a 3 kilogram roll of T-glass that I ended up taking home to make masks. Turned out the mask design we were utilizing was too brittle, printed in T-glass. So a lot of these components are going to get printed out of that. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about the milk crate, and I'm pretty excited about this thing making milk crate parts. So, yeah, I've always been looking for the right use for T-glass. Like, I like printing it. It does a good job, but there's certain components that's just really hard to print. So anything that has lots of retracts doesn't work very well. I printed probably 200 of the 3D Vertstam visor frames out of it with a HS nozzle with a 0.6 nozzle, and just putting the hammer down on it. I could print 2 on a bed every 20 minutes with T-glass. But when we got into anything that had lots of retracts, like our mask design, either the nozzle would jam, or when they come off, it would be too brittle. So, yeah, I print lots of that. I have some thoughts on doing a video on how to make a coroplast enclosure that is collapsible. I have a design up here for it. So if I do that, that'll probably get built for this printer and maybe the Mini, so that we can print ABS across them really easily. So we'll see. There's stuff coming up. Lots of Makers on Tap stuff coming up. There's a potential for a studio space that we may or may not use. I don't know. It's hard for me to leave right now, which is why all my machines are here. It'd be very hard for me to be doing this at a studio space. So, yeah. Do you guys have any questions for me before I kill this? Because I'm about ready to. So this guy's at 35% on the print. Still making a print and looking good. I guess if you have anything, you all know how to get a hold of me because you all found this. And I only posted it on Twitter. So there'll be updates on this thing on Twitter and on the Makers on Tap Discord. Yeah, as I start printing with it, you will know. So, cool. It's good to see you, Billy. It's good to see everybody that joined. Way more people joined than I thought. I thought it was just going to be me and Adam. So that's cool. I was glad to do the unboxing. When I looked online, I didn't find hardly any information on the printer, and kind of the same idea that Chris and I have had with the tool changer. There isn't a lot of information out there on that, and the information that is out there, I don't feel is super accurate. So, I'm kind of going to do the same thing for this, where it's here and it works. So I'll be honest with my experiences with it. That's all I can do. So, okay. I'm going to sign off, guys. Thank you for joining. Listen to Makers on Tap. we'll be talking about it as we release episodes coming up. This is, yeah, keep making stuff, guys. This is the end of the live stream. Bye.